We are going to get into your market update. But as everybody knows, this ain't your normal average market update. What is going on with coronavirus COVID-19? Let me fill you in with how it's affecting real estate market, what I'm seeing, possibly what to expect, and what to look out for. The market has been on a rampage in Phoenix in the real estate sector for quite a while now, quite a few years. So let me explain how hot the market was in Phoenix in 2020. The average market has been about $30,000 to be considered a traditional average market. 30,000 listings. Over the last few years, we've been at about half that, which is why we've been in a seller's market for so long. Last year, we saw bidding wars. Tons of buyers for every one listing, and that was driving up prices. We saw the amount of active listings go down to around the 13,000 mark, even into the 12,000 mark. That is really low. And we saw that activity really spur a very strong seller's market. Now let's put in perspective that in 2020, just about a week ago, when I pulled active listings, we were around the 10,000 listing mark, even below last year. Year over year, prices have appreciated from last year to this year 14.3%. That is dramatic when historically it's between 3 and 5%. It's about 3 times the amount that your house is appreciating from just last year. That's a huge increase, and it's because of these bidding wars driving up prices. In February alone, the amount of listings was about 42% below what it was last year. Needless to say, 2020 started off extremely hot. Enter coronavirus. And that is going to have an effect on our market, and this is what I'm seeing. We saw a 20% drop from the highs just about a month ago, which means we're technically in a bear market. So people are losing money. When people are losing money, they don't have that extra money to put into real estate. That could affect it. But what people also don't consider is when the stock market is down, sometimes people divert their money from stocks to real estate. So it could potentially still keep real estate going. Another thing is just consumer confidence. When things like this happen and the stock market dips, people just aren't as confident to go out there and buy real estate. Interest rates. Just a week ago, the Feds dropped the interest rate 0.5 point. We saw a huge rush to get your house refinanced because of that. And then what happened? Just today, the Feds dropped the rate to almost zero. 1/4, basically 0.25% is where we're at, which is practically zero. So historical lows, great time to refinance. With that being said, sellers have had so much leverage the last couple of years, especially this year. This could be an opportunity for buyers to have a little more leverage than they've had in recent times. They could also take advantage of these interest rates and get more house or pay less for the same house because your mortgage monthly is less. If the coronavirus doesn't last too long and we get through this, then right now is an opportunity and you could take advantage of it. If coronavirus takes longer to resolve and it ends up turning into more of an issue where potentially people lose their job, lose more money, lose savings, and potentially turns it into a recession and people can't make their mortgage payment and we have foreclosures. If prices are going to go down, then you obviously don't want to buy right now. That is the risk versus reward. You have to decide if you think that it's a better opportunity to take advantage of the opportunity right now that is presented to yourself, or if waiting is a better idea. Every decision you make, whether you pull the trigger or don't pull the trigger, has risk. Not making decisions also have a risk. So you have to make that decision on your risk tolerance. The government will be assisting in this situation. They've already dumped trillions of dollars into the system, and we saw that movement on the stock market. It is an artificial assistance, which could have long-term effects on the market. Nobody truly knows what those effects are, which is why I always recommend to buy real estate as long-term investments. It is much more difficult to get hurt if you're buying long-term. Absolutely nobody knows exactly how this is going to turn out. My opinion is that because real estate is so local, that we are a little bit more insulated, but that doesn't mean we are completely foolproof from real estate prices potentially dipping. With it being such a strong seller's market, I think that it's actually could be good timing where buyers can now have more opportunity that they haven't had, and sellers can be a little bit more realistic with their prices and demands and the product that they're selling. They might do more repairs now. I'm not seeing all the crowds that were at the new builds that there were prior to this. It has slowed down, but that's because this is very fresh. People are thinking about this right now, and that will start to go away, and people will start getting back interested in their daily life again. So truly, we have to wait it out and see what happens. If this is prolonged for 6 months, 8 months, a year, yeah, we will definitely see it affect the economy as a whole and probably trickle down to the real estate market. But if we can knock this out in a short amount of time, then I do think that we can get things back rolling again to where they were, or at least close to it. See, nobody can predict these black swan events. No one factor is going to tell you what's going to happen in real estate in Phoenix. So we just have to see collectively how everything works together. I like to look at how many sellers, how many listings, and what is the demand for those products. So if our demand stays strong or stronger than how many people have listed their house, that is going to be a good sign to know in what direction the market is going, who has the leverage, the sellers or the buyers, or if we're just in an even market. So that, along with a couple of other factors, I'll be keeping an eye on, and I'll be filling you guys in with what I see. Thanks for listening. I hope that made sense. It's a lot to consume. It's a lot to understand. And I'll be trying to break it down to you guys as simple and easy to understand as possible. So hopefully made it easier for you guys to understand.